This is the story of Kim Jae-jin, a dude who was about to get shipped off to the North Pole with zero internet forever. His only other option? Transferring to a place where no man had ever set foot before. Plot twist, it was a base full of girls. That's right, today is about to be his luckiest day ever. Naturally, Jae-jin didn't even hesitate. Choosing between death by freezing or a potential reverse harem, he slammed that accept transfer button faster than hitting skip intro on his favorite anime. Within seconds, Bro learned his first day was like, tomorrow, rest in peace. Regardless, shortly after Jae-jin dipped from the general's office, the general's assistant was side-eyeing him and asked, "Sir, why him?" Out of literal millions, the general, a man clearly living in his own reality, just shrugged saying kid looked meek, so meek he should rename himself Meek Mill, so I figured he wouldn't cause trouble. The assistant countered by saying, "Sir, respectfully, those are usually the ones with the hidden chaotic energy that manifests the second they're under pressure. It's part of the lore." But the general just sighed and says, "Guess we'll see how his character arc unfolds." Fast forward to next morning. Jae-jin gets yeeted out of a vehicle right in front of the gate. He's looking hyped, radiating pure, unadulterated first day of school energy. But the second he stepped past the point of no return, a cold dread washed over him. Yikes, this wasn't just a base, it was a whole new dimension, and he had no idea what the looming boss fight looked like. He took 2 steps and then he froze. He saw his first squad, and there she was. Blue hair, radiating main female character vibes, and a level of fitness had Jae-jun's brain buffering. He stood there like an absolute sussy baka, eyes wide, looking like he'd never seen a female human before. Luckily, his internal system reboot finished before anyone noticed his NPC behavior. He snapped back to reality just as another recruit strolled by, her uniform struggling heroically to contain the sheer gifts trying to escape. Jae-jun's gaze activated again, but again, he wasn't caught simping in public. However, Bro got ganked by an officer. "Lost, recruit?" she asked, somehow managing to sound stern and slightly curious but nice at the same time. But Jae-jun, with his social stats currently at 0, just stared for a solid 3 seconds, maxing out the awkward meter. His brain finally kicked back on and explained that he's Kim Jae-jun, assigned here as part of a top-secret operation pilot program. The officer's eyes widened slightly. "Ah, so you're the one. The first man ever assigned. And a third officer too. Let's go," she said while introducing herself as Minju, a newly promoted second officer. And since these two are basically the same rank now, she asks if they can drop formalities. Meanwhile, Jae-jun's mind went into overdrive. A female who wanted to be friends. At the ripe old age of 21, this was a legendary achievement unlocked. His first reaction? He goes for the handshake, just like any other bro. Anyways, dude was so hyped about his first female friend IRL, he barely registered Minju saying goodbye and heading off. As she walked away, his sussy gaze locked onto the legendary double cheeseburgers right in front of him. The next morning, Jae-jun woke up feeling damp. Not gonna elaborate, but let's just say his brain was still processing the S-tier character models he'd encountered. After dealing with that minor embarrassment, he got summoned. Quest notification. Report to the commander's office. He rushed over, his brain lagging but his feet moving. Upon reporting for duty, his hidden powers definitely looked like they were gonna get a training arc here, since every single co-worker he saw was so trained and fit. Nonetheless, he introduced himself formally to Commanding Officer Park Yumi, who welcomed him to the squad with a stern yet welcoming vibe. Bro then received a new quest. Introduce yourself to your company leader. Without wasting a second, Bro booked it like no tomorrow to leave a good impression, but as he walked through the base, passing more and more members of his new battalion, he felt it. Every single eye shifted, every head turned. He was under the spotlight, feeling more stared at than a streamer who just messed up on live stream fails. He was getting more attention than he'd had in his entire life, but this time it's special. These weren't just eyes, these were legendary ancient ladies that hadn't seen a dude in ages, all locked onto him. Luckily for Jae-jun, no one actually did anything. No ambushes, no awkward questions, just the intense, silent observation. So somehow, our boy managed to navigate the gauntlet and made it to his destination without getting lost or collapsing from the sheer weight of being looked at. Nevertheless, Jae-jun stepped inside and BM. Jump scared by a blue-haired goddess. It was the girl from yesterday, looking like a limited edition figure IRL. She beamed, "Welcome, Jae-jun. I'm Captain Lee Suna." Jae-jun, channeling his inner simp god, immediately yelled, "Please take care of me, senpai." Suna just tilted her head. "Sure, I can totally teach you the ropes," and ends up asking if he's into working out. But before he could even process, she literally just scanned him with her eyes and mentioned how Bro looks buff, causing Jae-jun's brain to begin buffering hard-like on the slowest internet speed ever. Things then went to what in the Ohio? Real fast. He mumbled about playing some sports, maybe lifting a little. After hearing he lifts, her eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. She literally jumped out of her chair and was suddenly massaging his biceps and shoulders, like full-on muscle ASMR. She spent the next few minutes squeezing his arms like cookie dough, muttering, "See, I knew it, you got some arms on you." After finally letting go, she hit him with the ultimate invite and asked if he want to hit the gym with her after group training today. Jaejun's inner monologue could not believe itself, so he swiftly croaked out a rapid-fire "Yes, absolutely, Captain." Fast forward several hours. Group training felt less like exercise and more like a painful IRL raid boss, courtesy of Captain Suna. Jaejun was basically an NPC attempting his best, totally failing the vibe check compared to the girls who were moving like they had infinite stamina cheat codes. As he lay there gasping, questioning all of his life choices, Suna appeared beside him, radiating main character energy. Getting way too close, she whispered, "Hang in there. Remember our gym date? Don't be salty." Since training was almost over anyway, she dropped the ultimate admin power move. "Jaejun, you're dismissed from group training. Head down to the grounds with me." After reading that, my sussy senses began tingling harder than ever. Anyways, Suna didn't walk. She full-on ran down the path in front of him. Jaejun, trying to follow without looking like a total beka, couldn't help but notice the legendary view ahead, truly embodying how it looks like it's fighting for freedom. As he shuffled past the still-suffering squad, he mumbled to himself, "Okay, maybe the first day ain't that bad since honestly it's been going smooth." Suddenly, an entire squad in their run stopped right in front of him. Then they started doing what suspiciously looked like bending jutsu poses from the avatar. Jaejun instantly averted his gaze, trying not to appear like a sussy baka enjoying the questionable choreography. But as he awkwardly scanned the scenery, dodging eye contact, one girl's eyes locked onto him like a heat-seeking missile. And then she hit him with it. The ultimate shinobi flashbang jutsu. She unsealed the dragons, but the other girls immediately swarmed her, some giving props, others looking jealous that they didn't think of that move first. Before anyone else could try their ultimate technique, Suna, ever the tactical genius, clapped. "All right, everyone. Individual training time. Disperse." With the spontaneous chaos contained, Suna grabbed Jaejun's arm with surprising strength and practically dragged him to the base's brand new state-of-the-art training facility, which turned out to be basically a dusty room with some weights. Suna then explained that all the girls have been doing yoga these days, so this place is like her private dojo. But Bro glanced around the empty room and realized it is really just them two, so it was giving off slightly sus energy. But Jaejun wasn't about to dip on a solo gym session with the actual blue-haired captain. "Okay, legs and shoulders." He agreed, internally questioning the split, but externally nodding like his life depended on it. Suna, eager to start, headed straight for the squat rack. "All right, stand behind me," she ordered. "Gotta make sure my form is perfect. Be my spotter." Now positioned directly behind her, tasked with ensuring peak squat form, a slight problem appeared. The banana tree plantation decided this was peak growing season. Trying desperately to keep things contained, Jaejun began trembling as Suna lowered herself, getting closer with every single perfect squat. She was hitting those reps like a quick-time event master, completely oblivious, or was she? To the rising Gaia energy directly behind her. With Jaejun feeling the pressure, he knew this training session was going to push him past his awakened Shadow Monarch mode and unlock some forbidden techniques, but he knew there was no skipping this training. Then the distance between his spiritual focus and Suna's legendary training zone got critically close, so Bro had a hard turn away, his internal server ping spiking. He thought he was safe, but the captain, Suna herself, hit him with the classic, "Where did you go? I need a spotter now." Query implying he might actually have to grab the captain's legendary dragon plate body for survival. But Jaejun, blessed with temporary big brain status, pulled a move smoother than an OP anime protagonist, dodging a final boss attack. He served up an excuse about something getting in his eye whilst making sure Suna couldn't see his hidden blade glowing in the dark. But being the captain, Suna wasn't having her new recruit compromised. She pulled him closer, aiming for that 2020's vision check, because apparently you need eagle eyes for spotting. As she leaned in, Jaejun's brain buffered, thinking this was the moment, the classic manga accidental kiss trope, so he closed his eyes, bracing for impact. Nani? Nothing happened. Instead, she just hit him with the mom-level eye blow maneuver, like clearing dust from a vintage game cartridge. "Feeling better after that, recruit?" she asked, completely oblivious to the fact his heart rate was through the roof. After confirming Bro wasn't about to go blind, Captain handed down the next quest. Shoulder gains. "Grab some weights, it's your turn," she commanded, the energy of a shonen sensei about to push his student past their limits. She then took post directly behind him. As she counted reps, which felt less like counting and more like hyping him up while massaging his shoulders the entire time, Jaejun was living life. He was pushing, sweat dripping, main character energy peaking. Then boom, ganked by a heavenly pillow coming out of nowhere right behind his head. Must be by accident, he thought, shrugging it off. But on the very next rep, it struck again, harder this time, followed by the captain repositioning herself even closer, like they were sharing one seat on a roller coaster of pure awkwardness and unexpected physio. At this point, failure was not an option. His power level surged, fueled purely by the chaotic energy and the undeniable sussy beka thoughts invading his mind every second she was this close. He went past his physical limits, unlocking a temporary power-up courtesy of proximity. As he strained for that final rep, his brain could only conjure one ultimate desire. Man, a 10-fingered discount on these would slap right now. Suddenly, he dropped the weights, collapsing into a panting mess, looking like a dog who just chased a squirrel across the entire town. "Stop being a baby," Suna said, unimpressed. "Nah, Captain, I'm physically done. I've exerted all my power today," he wheezed, feeling like he just finished a boss battle on nightmare difficulty. "Fine," she conceded. "Chess tomorrow. I'll be there," as he invites herself, totally admin abusing again. So Bro couldn't say no, partly because he high-key wanted her there and partly because he was the sole dude in this 1,000-strong all-girls unit and looking weak was not his plan. As he powered down into recovery mode, chugging water like it was XP potion, he felt eyes on him. Suna was staring, not blinking once. Watching him drink like a hawk spotting his prey, her energy shifting from captain to something else. She snapped back to reality when he put the bottle down. "Hey," she said casually, "let's grab a meal after this." But before his brain could even process the loading screen for meal with Captain, she dropped the ultimate quest bomb. "Better yet, let's just go back to my place tonight." And then, looking directly at you guys, she yelled, "You guys watching better subscribe if you want to see how this plays out." Regardless, Jaejun almost fumbled the bag, asking her if it is just them two. But Suna's response was pure Sigma energy. "Got a problem with that?" Fast forward to evening. Our boy Jaejun is stuck doing mind-numbing paperwork, grinding away, but his focus stat is at 0. He's too busy theory crafting the infinite possibilities of dinner with the captain, his brain running simulations like a supercomputer. He's so deep in thought, he doesn't even notice another girl spawn into his area like an hour ago and has been grinding alongside him. Eventually, he realized the girl next to him had been staring for a while. He finally turned, ready to confront this unexpected encounter. "Is something up? Did I do something wrong?" he asked, bracing for whatever random event was about to unfold. After getting caught red-handed, the girl profusely apologized and said, "My bad, bro. I never expected a whole Sigma male like you here since this place has been strictly girls only since the dawn of time, and it's been years since I've seen a wild specimen." After the explanation, she went next-level flattering, whispering to him, "But for real, having you in the office is such a major glow-up and it feels way brighter already." Was she trying to raise him up? The sussy beka meter was definitely up there. But just as Jaejun's brain realized what was happening, Captain Suna materializes out of thin air like a boss battle starting. It was almost sus how perfectly timed her arrival was. But she just dumped all of Jaejun's work onto the now-stunned girl and with zero hesitation, physically yeeted him from the room. Jaejun, unsure if this was a stealth mission or just Captain Energy, decided not to catch an L by arguing and just went with the flow. Then stepping outside was like entering a whole new arc. Before he knew it, Bro was being gently but firmly herded towards a white van. Oh hell nah. White vans? Even I am scared of those. Luckily, Jaejun wasn't some low-level NPC. He knew how to throw hands if this took a dark turn. He wasn't about to get Ice-Kate into a kidnapping plot today. Turns out, it wasn't a kidnapping arc, just a dinner date arc. As such, they arrived at Suna's place on base, and first order of business was washing hands. Suna told him to hold up while she prepped, mentioning she ordered pig trotters for dinner and hopes Bro's fine with it. But as he washed his hands, he unlocked a new achievement. First time inside a girl's house. His mind immediately went full brain rot. Day 2 and he's chilling at the captain's place. This wasn't in the tutorial. Regardless, as he reached for the towel, his eyes landed on a laundry basket chilling next to the sink. And inside something caught his eye. It was a special kind of clothing item. The kind girls wear when they're unlocking the co-op mode of life. For reasons known only to his inner menace, Jaejun decided picking it up was the best course of action. As he held the forbidden artifact, his mind went off the rails, imagining Suna wearing it. His brain screamed "Sussy Beka" and did a full system reboot. He was lost in the sauce, probably planning a whole fanfic in his head, but when Suna's voice cut through his debauchery. "You okay in there?" He stopped in his tracks. Jaejun's brain went into overdrive. He couldn't reveal he was simping over her laundry. So he yells back saying he's doing a tactical dookie deployment. Be right out. He even flushed the toilet for authenticity, desperately trying to reroute the blood rushing to his mythical power elsewhere. He finally emerged, looking slightly haunted, only to find Suna had already changed into comfy clothes. She was rocking the chill aesthetic. Noticing the pig trotters wasn't exactly a feast for two individuals, she casually offered wine. When she opened the fridge to grab it, she knew Bro was watching her, so she pulled of another bending jutsu animation, causing Jaejin to fight the urge to check her stats. Anyways, Suna started pouring drinks like tomorrow was canceled day. Jaejin got a bit worried. Back home, this much drinking usually telegraphed something heavy was about to drop. He tried to play it cool, internally prepping for whatever confession or dramatic event was incoming. Then, summoning his inner Chad, he just straight up asked if she had a boyfriend. Epic fail? Suna's face fell. She looked visibly upset, so she explained she did, but they broke up yesterday. It was an online thing, apparently, and she never got to see him. Big L, so Jaejin mentally prepared for the friend zone, or worse, Captain's wrath. But then a plot twist. Suna suddenly bursts out laughing, like she just unlocked a hidden achievement. Just kidding. Beka. Like I have a boyfriend on this base. No guys allowed, remember? I've been single forever. Jaejin's brain recalibrated. Wait, he actually had a shot. The filter between his brain and mouth dissolved. Wait, for real? But you're like physically perfect and pretty. How are you single? No cap, if I knew you before the military, I'd have asked you out instantly. Bro was pouring his heart out like he really meant it. Suna just smiled, giving him that look. The one that says, oh, things are about to get interesting. And then, without a single warning, she just fell asleep, face planting right onto the dinner table. Lagging hard, Jaejin was bewildered. He poked her, shook her gently, tried for a solid 10 minutes to wake her up, but she was in deep sleep mode. Sighing, our boy decided to level up his strength stat by trying to haul the captain to her room so he could finally dip and process this entire wild ride. As Jaejin attempted his best to guide Suna peacefully, a full-blown war erupted inside his head, and his hands, seemingly possessed by a mischievous spirit, began an accidental quest into her high-level forbidden zones. So the very moment he initiated contact with Suna's legendary twin dragons, its topology shot up faster than a speed O-sound sonic dash, claiming a critical error in navigation. Fortunately for the certified Beka, Suna remained in her deep slumber, offering neither notice nor reply. As such, Jaejin, seeing a narrow escape window, activated his inner ninja run towards her room door, prioritizing mission completion over potential character death by embarrassment. Then, channeling the mental fortitude of an MC powering up mid-battle, he successfully resisted the dark side's pull on his sensei mode abilities and finally deposited Suna onto her bed. Mission accomplished, but Jaejin lingered, his mind brewing degenerate left and right. The opportunity to unleash his special moves while the target's stats were at 0. But to make matters worse, the company leader herself seemed to be lowering her guard even further, subtly shifting sections of her armor as she settled in bed. Now struggling to keep his domain expansion from manifesting, he decided to assist the evidently distressed leader in optimizing her sleep comfort by helping remove the remaining pieces of her protective gear. Within a mere minute, the armor removal was complete. But just as Jaejin felt the palpable shift towards a full Fire Nation invasion of his senses, a sudden mental snap jolted him back, causing him to initiate self-calibration protocol by vigorously gaslighting himself into believing his sole purpose was a noble assistance, nothing more. However, just as Jaejin rejoined the path of righteousness, Suna, still seemingly deep in REM sleep, randomly decided it was the perfect moment to unveil her true powers she was hiding. And as if that wasn't enough of a challenge, she pulled the ultimate trap card. She moved her remaining essential armor to the side, reducing her defense stat to literally 0. At this point, our hero's resistance stat crumbled, so he totally succumbed to the sussy sigh by deciding to cautiously test the waters. After activating level 1 of his exploration skill tree, he ensured not to aggro the sleeping beast. For the next few minutes, he diligently worked on familiarizing himself with the terrain of his leader's overpowered dragons, first with his primary hand, then his secondary hand. Suddenly, a wild counterattack appeared. A still sleeping Suna somehow mustered the strength to use her hand deliberately, taking hold of Jaejin's personal domain. Realizing the impossible had just happened, Jaejin jolted back as if hit by a truck con, utterly terrified that his ganking attempt might have awakened the final boss. But her eyes remained shut, defying all logic. So barely dodging a bullet, he aborted the mission immediately and initiated a tactical retreat from the room. Then, unable to process what compelled him to challenge his captain while in her state, he freaked out and bolted from the room like his life depended on reaching the next save point. Regardless, with Jaejin out of frame, the shocking twist is revealed. Suna had been pulling a solid snake the entire time. Hearing Jaejin clatter down the stairs like a GTA RP scene, the coast was clear, so she decided to embark on a solo mission. As she processed the events, she was left utterly bewildered. Bro didn't even attempt a rice cake duel with her. Now forced to rely on memory and imagination power, she recalled Jaejin's ultimate pulse weapon, the final form Behemoth. And with just a single contact earlier, the memory left her utterly defeated, overwhelmed by the sheer potential energy of the joint mission they could have been on. Nevertheless, Suna went absolutely Gear 5 for the next hour, unleashing torrents of inner water manipulation before finally passing out. But right before losing consciousness, she vowed, his life. It's time for a training arc. Fast forward 1 week. Surprisingly, nothing out of the peculiar occurred, so Jaejin had been grinding work like a low-level character farming his EXP. Suddenly, while deep in the work zone, he got ganked. The glasses girl appeared, asking if he was free for lunch. Discovering the whole squad was linking up, Jaejin decided to rush ahead, hoping to snatch the last slice of pizza before the high-level players arrived. As he walked, however, his mind was still stuck on the events of the fateful night. He tread carefully, acutely aware that accidentally running into Captain Suna again might lead to his expulsion. Upon reaching the cafeteria, Jaejin got instantly wingmanned by Miss Glass's girl, who looks like a mix of Bulma and Levi, so she tells the lunch lady to give him extra meat whilst her double whopper blocked her own tray. Regardless, they sit down to feast like it's the final day of their life, but plot twist, Jaejin's just playing with his food and not actually eating. But when the girl notices him not eating, she looks like she's ready to go full simp mode 9000 and take the lunch lady down with a deadly glare, but she first asks him what's wrong. As such, Bro stops her from getting up and explains how he's currently stuck in an endless loop of anxiety because he just has a lot on his mind right now. So fast forward to the afternoon training arc. Jaejin's been handed the task of molding a new squad of recruits, basically the training Asta mission, but without the anime soundtrack to pump him up. Unfortunately, his inner power is simmering, urging to go Ultra Instinct, making him struggle to keep his beast in check. And every time he looks at the recruits, it's like going through a flashback of Suna's crazy gifts that haunt him harder than losing all of his fruit on Grow a Garden. But speaking of the captain, she suddenly floats into the scene and casually ganks him with some small talk, acting like nothing ever happened. Jaejin, surprised to be face to face with his favorite blue-haired waifu, stammers like a script stuck in infinite loop. Luckily, Suna saves our boy from looking like a total loser in front of his recruits and changes the subject by personally asking him if he's free tonight. Jaejin, who has no plans other than to play Roblox, replies by saying not at all. So with zero hesitation, Suna shoots her shot faster than a Bleach Bankai / asking if he can help her out at her place. Cut to the evening, it's less date night and more of a training arc vibe. Suna is out there laying down bruises and sports massage techniques like she's trying to evolve her skills to super god level, and Jaejin's just laying there thinking this was going to be a romantic episode. Instead, it's a torture trial right out of Attack on Titan. Except the Titan is her suspiciously strong thumbs. However, halfway through, she pulls a sneaky Titan smash and jumps on his back, nearly causing Bro to cough up a hairball like a haunted Nico boy. And instead of speaking out, Jaejin internalizes, feeling her water domain expansion slowly spreading across his back as if he signed up for a boss fight whose only element is water. Regardless, Suna commands him to flip around, but he hesitates, unsure whether to pull the trigger on his secret weapon. His pulse weapon would be the smartest move. Eventually, he risked it all like a Final Fantasy summoner doing a risky summon, and he immediately regrets it. His ultimate power flares out of his armor like the grand finale at a Gundam battle, completely exposed. Now expecting to get punished, Jaejin is shocked to see Suna actually helping him fuse his powers like they're about to drop the sickest opening theme as a dynamic duo. She then crosses her arms, eyes transformed into literal hard eyes emojis, and teases, "Why the scared face? You're like an extra virgin olive oil, just sitting there doing nothing while I've been grinding skills for days for you." With zero chill, Suna decides to pull out the mythical sword she trapped underneath her and swiftly coats it with some mystical item that will protect her from any unwanted baby clones. Anyways, cue the first ever duel for Jaejin, who's so new at this he can only keep his power maxed out for a few seconds like an absolute rookie. As such, all his energy seeped out, causing a raw energy transfer so strong that it almost blasts Suna straight to the ceiling. But the fight's not ending there like a random filler episode. Instead, Suna clings onto Jaejin's Shelby GT 500 like a serious FMC, refusing to let the arc end early, extending his power output with relentless spirit. But when she finally thinks it's over, Jaejin pulls out a surprise move, reloading his energy sword faster than a hacker entering God mode. It's the classic surprise attack, sending Suna flying to Planet Reach with a barrage of shots that never misses if it had aimbot. So from zero to hero, from nervous wreck to MVP, Jaejin finally levels up in true style, ending the day with a victory worthy of a standing ovation.